Emily and Gabriel had it all. Gabriel was a brilliant lawyer on the fast track to becoming a partner at his prestigious firm. With a promising career, a beautiful wife, and a baby on the way, he was the embodiment of the American dream. Emily, a lawyer herself, was 8 months pregnant and on leave from her job, filling her days with the social calendar of their exclusive, gated community. Life was perfect, or so it seemed. But perfection is a facade, and behind closed doors, the lives of the wealthy and privileged are not as they appear. In the bubble of their suburban paradise, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The relentless pursuit of success and wealth had left her feeling isolated, with too much time on her hands and a creeping sense of unease. Her curiosity piqued. Emily began to take notice of the people around her, especially Olivia and Michael, a couple who lived just 2 doors down. Olivia was everything Emily was not: beautiful, lively, flirtatious. She seemed devoted to her husband in a way that was both enviable and puzzling. Michael, on the other hand, was an unlikely match for Olivia. Balding, slightly overweight, and painfully shy, he was a far cry from the alpha males who populated their neighborhood. It wasn't long before Emily and Olivia struck up a friendship. With Gabriel consumed by work, Emily found herself spending more and more time with Olivia, seeking to understand the bond she shared with Michael. What she discovered was a story so dark and twisted that it would shatter her illusions and force her to confront the harsh realities of the world she lived in. One morning, after dropping her son off at school, Olivia invited Emily over for coffee. The conversation started innocently enough, talk of pregnancy, children, and life in general. But when Emily asked Olivia if she planned to have more children, the conversation took a darker turn. Olivia's response was strangely evasive. "It all depends on Michael," she said, twirling a small gold earring nervously. "If he wants more, we'll have them. If not, then no." Emily, sensing there was more to the story, pressed further. "But you also have your own opinion on this matter, don't you? This isn't the 19th century. He can't force you to get pregnant." Olivia smiled, but there was no warmth in her eyes. "No, Michael would never do that. He's a very nice man. I couldn't have hoped for a better husband. It's not that he forces me to do anything. It's just that I'll do anything to make him happy, and that includes having or not having children." The conversation grew more intense as Emily tried to understand the depth of Olivia's devotion. "You really love him that much, don't you? We all see the way you treat him like he's God's gift to women. I've never seen anything like it. And I hope he never understands," Olivia replied, her voice tinged with something that Emily couldn't quite place. Fear, desperation. "You don't want him to know how much you love him." Olivia hesitated, her eyes darting around the room as if searching for the right words. "It's not that," she finally said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "It's hard to explain. But let me ask you a question, Emily. You're a lawyer, and if I tell you something, can you keep it a secret? Like a lawyer-client secret?" Emily nodded, her curiosity now fully piqued. "I can if you hire me. Are you having any trouble? Is Michael hurting or threatening you?" Olivia shook her head. "No, nothing like that. I just have a story I need to tell someone, but it can never, and I mean never, leave this room." The atmosphere in the room shifted, becoming thick with tension. Emily agreed, sensing that what Olivia was about to reveal would change everything. Olivia reached into her purse and handed Emily a $20 bill, officially hiring her as her lawyer. "Consider yourself hired," Olivia said with a small, sad smile, before launching into a story that would haunt Emily for days to come. Olivia's life had not always been what it seemed. She grew up on the rougher side of Long Island, far from the affluence she now enjoyed. Her father was a roofer who spent more time in bars than at home, and her mother worked long hours as a hairdresser to make ends meet. Despite the chaos of her childhood, Olivia managed to finish high school and enroll in secretarial school, determined to create a better life for herself. By the time she was 24, Olivia was working temp jobs, one of which landed her in Michael's office. Michael was a certified auditor with his own small company, and when his secretary went on maternity leave, Olivia was hired to fill in as an assistant. She was young, ambitious, and tired of the party scene. To Olivia, Michael seemed like the perfect candidate for a starter husband, a man she could manage until she was ready to move on with a decent fortune. They married a year later, with the only condition being that they buy a home where they could raise a family. Michael agreed, and they moved into the house where they now lived. At the time, Olivia had no intention of having children, but she didn't want to disappoint Michael before the wedding. Everything seemed to be falling into place until one night changed everything. A few weeks after their engagement, Michael told Olivia they were having dinner with an old high school friend of his. They went to a small restaurant in Little Italy, one of those mom and pop places with an upscale feel. When they walked in, Olivia felt a strange tension in the air, as if they had stepped into someone's home uninvited. But after Michael exchanged a few words with the head waiter, everything changed. They were seated at the best table, and the service was impeccable. Halfway through dinner, two large men entered the restaurant, scanning the room as if looking for someone. One of them left, only to return with two other men, one well-dressed and around Michael's age, the other much older. Michael stood up, embraced them both, and introduced them to Olivia as Tony and Salvatore. The older man made a short toast to their upcoming wedding, and Tony gave Olivia an early wedding gift, diamond earrings worth more than she could have ever imagined. The men didn't stay long, and Olivia didn't see Tony again for another 2 years. But the encounter left her with an uneasy feeling she couldn't shake. Life continued as normal. Michael went to work every day, and money was never an issue. But as time went on, Olivia found herself longing for something more. She joined a gym to keep her body in shape and began an affair with her personal trainer, Chris. The affair was purely physical, filling a void that Michael couldn't. But one night, when Michael was away on business, things took a dark turn. Olivia and Chris were drugged, kidnapped, and taken to a remote warehouse where a nightmare unfolded. Chris was beaten within an inch of his life, and Olivia was forced to watch. When she regained consciousness, she found herself face to face with Tony. He spoke to her in a smooth, soft voice, asking her if Michael knew about the affair. When she said no, Tony revealed the truth about her husband. Michael was not just a brilliant auditor, but a genius at laundering money for powerful and dangerous people. Tony warned Olivia that if she ever did anything to make Michael unhappy, there would be dire consequences. He made it clear that her life depended on keeping Michael happy and giving him the children he wanted. Olivia agreed, terrified of the alternative. She returned home that night and a month later stopped taking her birth control pills. As Olivia finished her story, Emily was left speechless. The depth of Olivia's fear, her unwavering devotion to Michael, and the dark secret she carried weighed heavily on her mind. Olivia handed Emily one of her gold earrings, a miniature barrel-shaped charm, as a reminder of the night that changed her life forever. "You keep it," Olivia said, her voice barely above a whisper, "just in case you ever need to remember who holds the power around here." Emily walked home in a daze, her mind racing with the implications of what she had just learned. How could she, a lawyer who believed in justice and fairness, reconcile the fact that sometimes ignorance is truly bliss? How could she look at Michael, or any man in their community, the same way again? More importantly, what was she going to do with this newfound knowledge? She had been pulled into a world she never wanted to be a part of, a world of secrets, power, and survival. Now, she faced a choice: stay silent and protect her own family, or take a stand and risk everything. The decision weighed heavily on Emily in the days that followed. She knew that exposing the truth would put her own life, and the life of her unborn child, in danger. Yet, how could she live with herself, knowing that she had done nothing to stop the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect lives? As the days turned into weeks, Emily became increasingly paranoid.